All right, so writing equations in slope-intercept form. So the term slope-intercept already gives you an idea of what it should look like. It should have a slope and y-intercept in it. So y equals mx plus b is your slope-intercept form. Remember that m is your average rate of change, which is also your slope, which is also change in y over change in x. And your y-intercept is the b, it's where it starts on the y-axis. So let's look at this graph. We're going to need to figure out what the equation is. It's always easiest to find the y-intercept first. It's where it crosses the y-axis. So the b is 2. Now we need to find the m. So from this point, we need to find the next time that it crosses through a coordinate point. And that should be the same. It should be a pattern all the way through. That it goes up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2, which is positive. So if I'm going to write this as an equation, it's y equals 3 over 2x plus 2. Now we're going to test this equation for the value of x equals 2. So we need to know what is y when x equals 2. Now quick review on how to multiply by a fraction. You multiply by the top number. So multiply by the top number, then divide by the bottom. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So when x equals 2, y should equal 5, which is true. So when the y-intercept is an integer, such as the last exercise, it's fairly easy to get the exact relationship between x and y. So we're going to try another graphical problem where the y-intercept is not an integer. So find the equation of the linear function shown in slope-intercept form. Test your equation for x equals -4. So what we can find on this is the slope. We can find anywhere that it crosses through coordinate points. As long as it is crossing through at the same pattern, then it's a linear equation. So each time it is going down 1 over 2. To show that our slope is going down, when we go right, it makes it negative. It's going down 3, not 2. Now we need to find what this y-intercept is. To find this y-intercept, you're really going to have to find a coordinate point that this line goes through and solve for the b. So y equals mx plus b. What we do know right now is that -1/3 is the m. The next thing we need to find is, what is a coordinate point? Well, right here is a coordinate point, and that coordinate point is 2, 1. Then we need to remember which one's the x and which one's the y. 2 is the x, 1 is the y. We can plug the 1 in for the y and 2 in for the x, and we are looking for the y-intercept. So 1 equals, remember we multiply by the top number, divide by the denominator. A negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 1 is 2. Divide by 3 stays -2/3 plus b. Now we just need to solve for b. So we're going to add 2/3 to both sides. Now I want you to keep this as an improper fraction. So we're going to take this 1 and we're going to make it a fraction of thirds. So 3/3 plus 2/3 equals b. So b equals 5/3. To write our whole equation now, y equals -1/3 x plus 5/3. So you'll notice that this is approximately 1 2/3 up the y-axis. But now we need to test for x equals -4. So y equals -1/3 times -4 plus 5/3. So y equals, negative times a negative is a positive. So 4/3 plus 5/3, because 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9, so now it becomes 9/3, which is 3. So when x is -4, y is 3. You see that right here, on your coordinate grid that when x is -4, y is 3. We also need to be able to find the equation for a linear equation if we know 2 points that lie on it. So we have 2 points. We first need to find the slope. Remember, slope is change in y over change in x. So we're going to go from y to y, then from x to x. So from y to y, 5 to 17, you go to the right 12 places. And from 2 to 5, you go to the right 3 places. So 12 over 3 equals 4. So our m is 4, our slope is 4. Now, just like we did on the last question, we can use a coordinate point to find the b or the y-intercept of the equation. So you just pick one of them. I'm going to pick 2, 5. So instead of y equals mx plus b, we're going to plug 4 in for the m. We're going to pick 2 for the x and 5 for the y. So we used this coordinate point and plugged it in for the x and y. 5 equals 8 plus b. Subtract 8. -3 equals b. So our equation is y equals 4x minus 3. We have our m, we have our b. All right, next one. From y to y, 5 to 3 is -2. Now from x to x, -2 to +2 is +4 places. So -2 over 4 reduces down to -1/2. I'm going to choose this coordinate point just because I'm not dealing with any negative numbers this time. And instead of y equals mx plus b, we found that my m is -1/2, our x is 2, and our y is 3. So a negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 1 divided by 2 is 1. We're going to add 1 to both sides, so 4 equals b. You would have found 4 equals b if you used the other equation as well. So our new equation is y equals -1/2 x plus 4. All right, y to y, 11 to -4 is -15 places. From x to x, -1 to 4 is +5 places. So -15 over 5 is -3. So y equals mx plus b. Instead of m, we are plugging in -3. Pick a coordinate point, doesn't matter which one you choose. And I'm going to plug 4 in for x and -4 in for y. A negative times a positive is a -12. We're going to add 12 to both sides. 8 equals b. So y equals -3x plus 8. And our last one, from y to y is +15. From x to x is +9. So 15 over 9 reduces down to 5 over 3. Instead of y equals mx plus b, we are putting 5/3 in for the m. We're going to put 3 in for x and 4 in for y. 5 times 3 is 15, divided by 3 is 5. Subtract 5 from both sides, and -1 equals b. So our equation is y equals 5/3 x minus 1. So a car is traveling along a straight road. After 1 hour, the car is 72 miles from Chicago. After 3 hours, the car is 188 miles from Chicago. Determine an equation for the distance, d, the car is from Chicago after h hours if the relationship between d and h is linear. So they have given us 2 coordinate points here. Time is always going to be your x value. So time for the first equation is 1, and it was 72 miles. My second equation, the time was 3 and 188 miles. So from y to y, we need to figure out from 72 to 188. And that is positive 116. Then from 1 to 3 is positive 2. So 116 over 2 is 58. So y equals mx plus b. We are plugging in 58 for our m. And let's use this one. So 1 for the x, 72 for the y, plus b. 72 equals 58 plus b. Subtract 58 from both sides, and b equals 14. So our equation is, sorry, not y, because they want us to use d for y. So our, whoops, helps if I use the right thing. Our distance is 58 h for hours plus 14.